Okay, hello. We are back. It is week 7 and we are on our carnivore diet reset. And so we have hit a really great goal together at the same time on week 7, and we're 100 pounds apart. So
Exactly 100.
So
Yeah.
Eric reached 220 and I reached 120.
Yay!
Okay.
Woo!
Yes. And so that feels so good. Every day, every week, most of the time, we're seeing the scale go down. Of course, it's going to turn into later on, it's going to turn into not looking at the scale, because it's going to be more measured with our clothes, which it is. It's going to be measured with how we want to look and feel with our clothes. And also because we're going to be gaining muscle, the scale's not going to really matter too much anymore. We want to balance losing the fat, losing the weight, and we've cut out and eliminated ultra processed foods and sugars, right?
That's right.
Yeah, and so it's going to be measured differently. But right now we're celebrating the numbers. We're celebrating the pounds going down. I know some people, and I don't know if you maybe have felt this way, who will not even set foot on a scale.
Yeah. I mean, there was a point in my life in which I myself didn't want to go on the scale because I knew that it's way up there, so why bother? I wasn't really taking care of myself then. So it really was no point for me to actually go ahead and take a look at the number because it was scary for me.
Yeah, and these are all things in our minds that are really messing us up. And so sometimes a coach or someone who cares about you that would maybe encourage you, knowing the number on the scale could actually be a turning point to help you to say numbers, black and white, that you don't want to be that number simply. But it takes a lot of willpower and a lot of courage.
Dedication.
Yeah, like courage, because there's a fear there, right? There's a fear of maybe what you're gonna, I don't know, because you're going through disappointment of decisions that we've made and where we're at, and we don't know what to do with it. And so we came to a point where enough was enough with our health, and we want to make good decisions. So yes, we are at 120 and 220. I'm actually at 119 right now during this video, which is really cool. And yeah, so tomorrow is Thanksgiving. Last week we talked about social atmospheres with eating on the carnivore diet. And either you could be a burden socially, or you could just have it figured out and help everyone for you not to feel awkward and for them not to feel awkward with someone being on such a strict diet.
Definitely.
So you had a story that we weren't expecting. He had a really funny story this week. What happened at work?
So at work, we have Thanksgiving lunch, and the office there really puts everything out: salads and mashed potatoes and turkey and gravy and stuffing, like the works, even wine. Like everything was available there for lunch. A spread of different things in which I definitely would have enjoyed the catering party that was there to serve. They were serving large portions of the mashed potatoes and large portions of vegetables. And
so you're not picking it out yourself.
No, I wasn't taking my own portions, but they were actually serving me the portions.
So you're going down the line.
I was handed over a plate, and I'm talking to the person right next to me, behind me in the line. And as I reach the first area where they have the vegetables and mashed potatoes, as I'm talking to the person next to me, they served me a pile of vegetables, and I wasn't even looking. And the lady that was right next to him, she started to serve me the potatoes, and I said, no, yes, the turkey is fine. So the other person at the same time served me the turkey, but she insisted that I had the potatoes because it was the best part of the meal. I was like, yeah, I know, I'm sure it is. And I just ran away. Not ran away literally, I'm saying
probably
in my mind, really, I thought I need to get away from this because it definitely looked delicious, but it's not something that I wanted to enjoy for myself, not with this path that we're taking on the carnivore diet. Definitely the turkey itself, it was slices of turkey breast that were covering, the stuffing was just underneath. It was like a little ball of deliciousness, but I separated the stuffing and I just had the turkey itself. And that in itself was great. I was full after that, actually. I didn't really need everything else.
So not only are your interaction with these great servers that are excited about food, and so are you, but then you're rejecting it. So there's this like service that's being rejected, and then you're figuring out like, I want that, but I can't have it, but I don't want it, and you don't know what to do. And then also afterwards, Eric is someone who is okay with just keeping to himself. He's not necessarily the social mingler, which is the word you used when you were sharing this story with me. And I'm just separately from this diet, I was just proud of him that he shared that he really pushed himself to sit and stay with amongst people and mingle. And I said, mingle probably makes you go, so he did something that he doesn't normally do, which is really great, and was able to sit there, and someone did end up coming and talking with him and having conversation. They probably didn't bring up like what's going on your plate, because he did have those extra things that were shoved on his plate.
I mean, all the vegetables.
So he looked normal, but then he had to throw it out. So we don't want to waste food. We're not about wasting food at all.
Not at all.
But so I told him, like, you should have went to looked at the servers and scrubbed it off and be like, I'm not eating this.
When the server was serving you the mashed potatoes, she had a big spoon of it. Come on, just take it.
Okay, so what happened, which I didn't mention with the Harvey's story, is the server for Harvey's, because they make you your burger and go down the line with all the toppings. I didn't mention how her reaction was just like she was smiling, and this is really weird.
What are you guys
doing?
This is not a
that we only had
anymore.
The burger, cheese, and the bacon in a box which looks like the Big Mac box, and she had it there and had nothing to do. She just had to give it to us and not add anything. So I'm like, I'm sorry.
Sorry to cut you off, but it looked like she was having a discussion with the cook at the back, explaining that's really all that we wanted. Yeah. And he wasn't believing it.
They didn't understand what was happening. Yeah. So that was really funny. The thing is, the difference, so from what your experience and the Harvey's thing as well, is that I mentioned how we can just simply say, that's our opportunity to say, I'm on the carnivore diet, I'm just eating meat. And something like that, it doesn't actually sound too bad. It sounds pretty cool, like we're eating meat, man, right? And it was so funny. The smile on her face was just like, what is happening here? And then, of course, water. So we're not even buying a drink. We just had like tap water. And so that was interesting. So if you were able not to panic and run away, then you could say, I'm actually on the carnivore diet. I'm just eating meat. And then maybe they would have given you more turkey.
Possibly. But I was a little shy about that.
Yeah.
But the carnivore diet, we have mentioned it to a couple of friends. Yeah. And as soon as they hear that, they say, oh, that's my diet. It sounds like something I would be interested in.
Oh, yeah. So there's a lot of people who almost in their head, you could feel like they're just like, I wish I was on that. I wish I was doing that. Also, I have encountered where there's some people who don't agree with it, who don't agree or would be afraid of because of not knowing what happens when you're only eating meat, and if there are any past myths that we grew up with, because we know there's in media, there's like all of a sudden, coffee's good for you, coffee's bad for you, chocolate's good for you, chocolate's bad for you. Those are the first things that come to my mind all of these things are all of a sudden they're good, all of a sudden they're bad. And so that's why it's understandable that people are not sure of eating just meat. So did you feel that way when you first considered this
definitely
diet?
Going through the information about it, I thought this can't be healthy. It can't be healthy. Just eating meat, you can't have all that your body needs. You do need the vegetables, you do need the carbs, you do need a certain amount of sugars from even the fruit, just the sugar from there. But I was hesitant, definitely.
I think there's some videos about the food pyramid and how That's maybe a lie. But anyway.
That's for you to research.
Yeah, so I'll get into that another day. We are going to take the plunge of sharing our before and our progress pictures with you. We are so nervous about this.
Very nervous.
Okay, so overcoming embarrassment is the growth mindset situation, right? So we're afraid. However, we have to remember that this is exactly what we would look for on YouTube to do this challenge ourselves, right? Like we would look for results. We would look for before and after pictures and testimonies, right? Mm-hmm. So these videos are like a diary in real time of what's happening to us every week. And we plan on upcoming videos to just continue to talk more about the benefits of this diet and show you the food and show you all kinds of other things without just being a diary. But we have been like, we don't have to show you before and after pictures when we just start. So there's no guilt, right?
Yeah.
In that. But I think that it would be a growth mindset, like, I guess, hurdle.
Yeah, getting over a barrier.
Getting over a barrier.
Shame or insecurities.
Insecurity, embarrassment, because we actually now don't look like that.
She's looking quite good, definitely.
Yeah, his face is his face is showing up. Our jawlines are coming back, and a little bit. And yeah, no, so definitely like we are having a lot of fun with putting on clothes that we haven't worn in a long time. And so here they are. Here is Eric's before and Eric's after, Eric's progress. Okay, so we have there you have it. And here is my before and my progress. Okay. So we did it. Some of my befores are due to fibroids, okay? So I had uterine fibroids and had to go through that looking bigger than I was. That wasn't my fault. So it wasn't because I was fat, or it was because of something being pushed out, making me look like I was 6 months pregnant. And so it doesn't matter how much you work out or how good you eat at that point. It was something that was out of my control that was making me very upset of how I looked and depressed because of that, but it affected me every day, right? Okay, so then after that surgery, it's my fault, right? Then it's my fat or the sugar intake or whatever that is sitting there that's almost gone completely. All right, and so our future goal is so we're at week 7, and your original goal is for how long?
For 90 days. So it's coming up soon. It's going quite quickly.
Okay. And so that can change with just the fact that you need to reach your goal, whether you reach it before or after the 90 days, like then it doesn't really matter. So we just gave a gauge especially because like you've been on diets and you've tried things, but haven't been able to reach your results. Mm-hmm. So giving 90 days was a really good amount of time to commit to. So it's really about a commitment. And for me, I didn't really know. I said, sure, I'll do the 90 days. And then maybe at 40 days, decide what I want to do. So really, I'm not really looking at the days. I'm looking at my goal because we are fulfilling our commitment, sticking with it and being consistent and seeing results, which is motivating. Mm-hmm. So your goal is 90 days. So with your overall, if you can talk about where you see yourself reaching, or just a recap of your goal. And
yeah, my goal, the ideal kind of weight that I really want to reach is 150. Given that with working out, gaining muscle, originally before the diet, I started with about 130, 145, something like that. But I would be comfortable, I believe, with about 150, even pushing it to 155, just because I want to be sure that I gain more muscle during this time as well as I'm working out.
Yeah, and so okay, and sorry, so my goal is which I'm very close. I'm only really 4 pounds away from my goal right now, but I've decided to lose an additional 5 because what happens to everyone, and I'm sure maybe you can relate to this, is when you weigh yourself in the morning, it's golden, right? But then reality is, and it's okay, this is human and natural, that when you eat during the day, you get a little bit like expand. You could be bloated we don't get bloated from the food that we're eating, but there's foods out there that are foods that cause bloating, and other things could cause bloating that as well. But those things happen during the day and can be affected. And so with this fluctuation, I decided that I would go 5 pounds further so that fluctuation during the day actually reaches where I originally set my goal. And then just mentally that works for me, right? So I'm actually going to go down to 110 for that reason. And then any weight that I gain would be muscle. Right? And so the body type that I'm going for at this point in my life is to be a little bit more than toned. So like a little bit more muscular, fit, and toned with definition. That's what it is muscle definition. So I'm going for that. What are you going for your muscle goals?
Definitely lean and tone. The major thing really is to make sure that I'm healthy, I have the energy that I need for the kids, for our family. That's definitely the most important thing. The benefit of this entire diet really is that being longevity in terms of life. And then there is the body type. I think it would be lean, definitely more muscle. As the older we get, men, or even women as well, we start losing muscle. So I want to make sure that continues to increase as I get older in my diet, in the way I exercise, to gain more muscle.
Yeah, that's really important. And so I started to cut you off before, but I just wanted to encourage you that I think there's sometimes a barrier of talking about ourselves in a physical way. Like we don't want to boast about how we look or whatever, but I think, it's okay to talk about how you physically look, especially when you're married, because we want to be attractive to each other and then be able to be a good example to others health-wise. And people see us first, right? With their eyes, right? So it's okay. It's okay to represent that we're taking care of what we were given, right?
That's right.
Yeah. All right. So and this has definitely improved a little bit of confidence, being able, it's a big deal that we've had some clothes in your closet that you've wanted to wear for almost a decade. And you're wearing some of them now, right?
Yeah.
It's a big deal.
Just the other day, I put on a shirt that I hadn't worn for a while and it fits.
Yeah.
And it's a great achievement so far. Not fully there yet, and we continue to develop and grow and push ourselves to continue to be committed in this. It's exciting to see the results.
Yeah, the little things is what I love. I'm going to be using this word all the time, is the micro steps, right? And I love that word. So these micro steps is what's going to keep us going, keep the consistency, keep the motivation. And there is nothing wrong with celebrating the small things, right? I had a cup and it said celebrate the small victories, and it cracked and I threw it out, and I should have kept it. I'm so mad. I should have kept it for a plant or something. But celebrate the small victories, and we'll see you next week.